Greetings, all. Now, you're probably wondering who the hell I am. My name is Terry Hall. Dana Smith and I were friends for over 40 years. So I knew him very, very, very well. Now, I wanted to be there. I wanted to be, to show my love for Dana and be there. But unfortunately, I was in the hospital for 7 days with congestive heart failure. And it's left me very weak. Now, I'll get over it, but right now I just can't make it down there, so I apologize. Dana and I first met in high school. That's how far back we go. He was 16, I was 17. And I knew him for 40 plus years afterwards. We were always very close, always tight. Dana was always around. And I could say this, that you couldn't ask for a better friend than Dana. Dana was always available. Dana was always ready to help or do whatever he could. He was an amazing guy that way. And it's one of the reasons I loved him. Now, I'm sure you want me to tell you some really cute stories about Dana, and I know a couple. So how about this one? About 1974-75, I got together with Dana, with Mary Dempsey, who was a girlfriend at the time, who was also performing with him, and Rich Schoenberg. And Rich Schoenberg was part of the Three Musketeers. And what we did is, well, we dropped some acid, LSD. Dana loved LSD, by the way. And we drove down the coast and we ended up in Big Sur. And we drove into Pfeiffer Beach. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's an extraordinary place. Really one of the wonders of nature. And we went down to the beach and we're wandering around. We're all messed up on this acid. And we went in and sat in this clearing in the forest there of these bonsai trees. I don't know if you've ever seen them. This is the only place in the world where they grow. And they're pretty extraordinary. We're sitting there kind of trying to figure out what to say because nobody could talk because we're so high. And suddenly, out of nowhere, appears this bobcat. Yeah, no, I had never seen a bobcat. None of us had ever seen a bobcat up close. The bobcat jumps in the middle of the clearing, turns and looks at us, and then he does one of these numbers. And we're all thinking like, my God, what are we going to do? It's this bobcat. And out of nowhere, you hear, here, kitty, 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 kitty. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. And it was Dana. Dana was going through his period where he thought he was an animal trainer, and so he could communicate with any animal on any level. Well, the bobcat didn't think much of it, turned around and looked at him and went, ah, like that, boom, took off. Now, it was one of those crazy days. I don't know if you remember the crazy days. But as we left the forest, we went back to the parking lot. We're going to leave and go home. And in the parking lot is this guy who, trust me, if you ever saw him, you would just cross the street to get away from him. You go a couple of blocks just so you wouldn't bump into the guy. He was this very severe, weird-looking guy, like he might have been part of the Charles Manson family. And he had tattoos in an era when nobody had tattoos. And if I remember correctly, he had a tattoo on his face. And when we got close enough to see him, I noticed that he had this enormous denture right here in his nose. His nose was absolutely flat, flush on his face, and this big crease in it. Same thing in his chin. And then I looked over and saw on his leg he's wearing this gigantic Bowie knife. I mean, this thing was enormous. And I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here. This guy's going to kill us. Next thing I know, Dana, hey, how you doing? Hey, are you the Cardi? And I guess next thing you know, they're both jabbering back and forth about their days at the carnival. And the guy says, well, you want to see something? Watch this. He takes out the Bowie knife and he whips it. I mean, whips it right in front of our faces. We're all standing like, oh my God, this is it. He takes the Bowie knife, takes the edge of it, puts it right into his chin, and balances this enormous thing on the chin. Then he goes, I'll tell you what, watch this. He takes the Bowie knife and then he puts it into that indenture in his flat fucking nose, and then he balances this enormous Bowie knife with his nose. And I'm like, oh my God, we got to get out of here. This guy's crazy. Yeah. Dana bonded with him, so we had to sit there and talk to the guy for God knows how long. I would say that I've thought about this a great deal after he passed away, which, by the way, no one told me about. Because trust me, if I had known, if Rich Schoenberg had known, we both would have gone to his bedside. I won't go any further with that, but I got to tell you, it really upset me. And I started thinking about Dana the way he was. And I think the thing that was most important to him, always, excuse me, was he needed acceptance, not approval. I give you, how can I make the distinction? Well, he did the same act for, God knows, I don't know, 50 years. He never changed it. It was the same act over and over again. And it became a real bone of contention between the two of us. I'd say, look, the real measure here is somebody's willing to pay to see you. It's not an unusual thing. It happens every single day. And the only way you're going to get that is if you have to improve the act. You got to start writing on it, creating a better act. And he never did. He wouldn't even listen to the idea. And it used to, puzzle the hell out of me. But then after I realized, as I began to think about it, that the only thing that he really was interested was acceptance. And he couldn't have picked the perfect profession to do it. I mean, everybody, you're out on a Saturday, you get the whole family's looking at an ice cream cone. And guess what? Boom! There's Dana in his tight pants. And he's going to charm the hell out of you. Whatever he can do, he's going to charm you. And people loved it. And he loved that people loved it. It was the reason he kept on doing it. And he would never stop. He had other opportunities to work. He didn't. All he wanted to do was be a straight performer and gain acceptance. Now, I had some trepidation about coming. And I must say the reason is there's a bunch of people there that I've not seen in a very, very long time. And I would love to hear from you. You get my contact information from Schoenberg. And if you don't want to do that, give him your number and I will call you. Now, I'd like to end with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. I do dimly perceive, whilst everything around me is ever changing, ever dying, that underneath all this change is living power that is changeless, that creates, dissolves, and recreates. I'll see you on the other side, buddy. Thank you.